Oh there, on this episode of the Mimic's Veil, Alex gets abused on holiday, Lewis discovers a deeply hidden feature of Nintendo Switch Online, Ben cries, we also perhaps discuss Metroid Zero Mission, a bit of Time Trekker, and Horizon Forbidden West.
Of you two have played Horizon Zero Dawn.
I played
I've tried.
But you've played it, but then shat on it, didn't you?
No, I've played it, I just didn't finish it.
Yeah, but did you finish the tutorial? I don't know. I'm sure you dropped off at like 5 hours or something, didn't you?
No, I'm at least 6 or 7.
Okay, so you're halfway through. No, so I loved Zero Dawn. Really, it takes a lot to want to platinum a game of that girth, but I couldn't get enough of it, and I just wanted to do everything apart from the DLC. Not really a DLC guy.
Frozen,
that's what it seems like.
Yeah, Frozen Wilds. I think I did actually stumble into the DLC at one point, and then realised I was playing the DLC, and then went, I don't want to do this. This isn't part of the core game.
Filthy.
Yeah. But my personal issues aside, I loved Zero Dawn, and actually really ended up quite enjoying Call of the Mountain as well. I think to start with, so when Alex and I first got our PSVR 2, we both played it, I don't know, for an hour maybe, and went, oh yeah, this is cool, this looks amazing. But because we were just inundated with other games to play, I don't think we gave it the time of day really. Beyond the sort of tech demo-ness of it. But then I went back to it, I don't know, like a year later, and yeah, it's a simple game, in terms of what you're actually doing, but it's something about the world of Horizon that's really, I don't know what it is. It's just gorgeous. It's really nice just to be there and look around, and there's something painterly about everything that you look at. It's kind of got that same thing that Ghost of Tsushima's got. It feels like almost like hyper realism, where it's like this looks better than real life, and that's when you're looking for a game world to escape into, it is right up there. Which is probably why I started playing Forbidden West eventually, because I've been, as we spoke about on the last episode, I've been waiting for that exact perfect moment in time to play it, because I knew I would love it, having loved the other two games. So it's like, right, I want to make sure I'm in a good mood. I'm in the mood for this, because I don't want to taint my experience of playing it in any way.
Oh, yeah. So many times I've gone to play a game in the wrong mood, and it's just ruined it.
You can't force it, and that happens with movies for me as well. My memory of Inception is that it's a rubbish film, but everyone I've ever spoken to, it's like, no, it's amazing. It's a great movie. But I can distinctly remember being really grumpy going to watch it, and just being sitting there and half going, well, this is stupid, through the whole thing. Whereas I'm sure if I went there
I've got the same thing. Sorry, finish it.
No. If I'd have watched it in a good mood, I'm sure I'd have had a more positive, experience. But what were you going to say? Yeah.
No, just that I've got the same kind of thing, but with Ratatouille. I went way before kids, went to see Ratatouille in the cinema, and we went to quite an early viewing of that film at Cineworld, or
UGC.
I can't remember what it's called, at Fort Kinnaird. UCI.
I think it was UGC before Cineworld.
UGC.
Oh really? It was whatever one it was at Fort Kinnaird in Edinburgh, and I was a bit grumpy because I was sat next to a child.
How dare they go to a child's film?
I was appalled. and they kept on throwing the popcorn about, which I wasn't happy about because it was touching me. I was like, fucking popcorn off me. And then they left. I was like, excellent, they're away. Now, as a dad, I know that they were like, why they all had to up, and it's because they went to the toilet. They had to take the boy to the toilet. He came back, and he was just stinking of piss.
So
that tainted my.
Now you think Ratatouille, you think child's piss. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, that would ruin it. Although, while we're on this tangent, the flip side is also true. And if you watch a film in an overly good mood, then it can make a rubbish film seem better than it really is. Like Sex and the City 2, for example.
God, you must have been in a good mood.
I distinctly remember being really like I think I cried watching it. So I was like, oh my God, I hope they get it together. And I just remember coming away thinking, wow, this is the best film I've seen for ages. And I was the same with Titanic when I watched that.
But that's a good film.
But it had such a profound effect on me that I've only watched Titanic once because I never want to watch it again and that experience be diminished. So I've never watched it since because that was so powerful watching it the first time. So there you go.
Wow. That was 25 years ago or something. You watched it in the 90s.
But yeah, it's funny. But video games, anyway, had the same thing. And but yeah, I was in just the right mood to play Forbidden West, and I have just fallen completely into the world. It's such a it's like an elevation of everything that was in the original. It's just everything's better. It looks gorgeous. It might be the best looking game I've ever played. But the spectacle of everything. There's so many, unfortunately, spoilery moments. So I won't tell you what they are. But there's so many things that I've messaged Laurie about just to say, because I know he's played through it, just to say, oh, just got to this bit. Incredible. And there's so many times I've just gone, wow, like the scale of what's happening in front of me. And the story goes some places as well that I didn't expect it to. I think the story in the first one was really underrated in terms of the world they've built and the sort of sci-fi side of it, which I don't think on the surface people don't necessarily assume that it's got the best story in the world, but I think it's really good. It's exactly my, you're talking about Elden Ring last week, Lewis, and if you ask me, is there a story in Elden Ring? I would go, I have no idea. I don't know what it is. The story for me in Elden Ring was me going out on an adventure and then just getting in a load of fights and overcoming the odds, blah, blah, blah. But the story, exactly.
Like Bilbo Baggins.
Whoever that is. And the story in Horizon is just brilliant. I love it. I would happily watch TV show. I know that. Did it get cancelled, the TV show? Or was that something else?
Oh, no, I think it's coming. It's Netflix, that one.
Yeah. And yeah, I'd happily
It feels like news to me. I can't remember that being discussed before or reading that Horizon TV show.
Because Amazon are doing God of War, aren't they? And
yes.
Netflix are doing Horizon.
And Yakuza.
Yeah. Crazy. What a time. But yeah, it's so easy as well. It's very. I am playing it on not the absolute easiest difficulty, the one above that, but it's just easy in terms of you don't really have to think about much. It's just you can just get lost in that world. Know that you've got your bow and arrow, and you can just basically, kill anything. And the sound design is probably my favorite of big budget games. Just as you're shooting parts off a big old robot animal and just when it explodes. I love it. Everything about it, just the spectacle of it. And I said it before, but it's just nails that PS5. This is why you've got this machine. because you just can't get this experience anywhere else. It's just like
what what improvements did they make? So I don't mean improvements, but the new mechanics, because I know they sort of implemented a paraglider style thing for you to sort of sail about the place.
It does feel a bit like this definitely feels like post Breath of the Wild version of Horizon, because obviously the original came out within a week of Breath of the Wild, didn't it? And it got panned for the climbing being old school climbing, whereas in Zelda you can go anywhere, and the freedom that the paraglider gives you. I feel like I haven't used it as much as I would in like a Breath of the Wild, but I don't really know why. I think I've been using like mounts, because you can basically, as long when you learn how to override some of the machines, you can kind of mount them like you could in the first game. I've been using that a lot, and to be honest, fast traveling quite a lot as well. Like the fast travel system's better in this game. I think in the original you had to kind of unlock the ability to freely fast travel between campsites, if I remember rightly. There was like a way that you could pay like a currency that you could, or an item that you could use to fast travel, which you can do in this as well, but the fast travel just seems better implemented in this. It's just little quality of life things like that. It's just such a nice sort of binge worthy, switch your brain off, enjoy a cool like Hollywood story, and look at the amazing visuals. And I really like Aloy as well. She gets a lot of shit as a protagonist. Cool. Like people say she's boring.
She's cool.
I think she's cool. Like, she's just not over the top. Although she is going to be in the Lego game, right? She's
going to be over the top.
That she's going to be like really silly, and which would be quite fun. But in this, I think she's a cool character. So leave her alone.
That's the internet told. Like, no, I did like it. I thought the gameplay was good. I can't remember why I stopped playing it. I think I don't know if it's possible to get lost, but I think I went too far out the way and I couldn't fast travel somewhere, or I just kept on getting beat up by, I don't know, something, and I just got frustrated and I maybe stopped. I can't quite remember, but I can remember from like the time that I was enjoying it, like going and just that kind of Breath of the Wild thing, seeing there's someone on the distance, I'm going to go and have a little look down there, and finding a tall neck and trying to figure out how to get to the top, that kind of thing, to get the map. All really clever stuff. But and I think again, like you mentioned there, the first one releasing in amongst Breath of the Wild, in Breath of the Wild wake, and it's the same for the second. It released in the Tears of the Kingdom window. It's just terrible timing.
Or the Elden Ring.
Was it Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Was the year before? Okay. I thought it was the same year. It was last year.
It was a few weeks, because it was like January, February time, wasn't
it?
They were all coming out.
Was it?
Yeah.
Just unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. But it's I love it. I don't know why. Sometimes I can see why people do fall off it. And particularly when you compare it to something as free roaming as Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild. This does feel a bit more on rails, and I'm certainly compelled to kind of golden path it and get the odd distraction. Whereas in like those two games, there is this like just go anywhere and do anything, and the story will kind of figure itself out and you'll piece it together gradually. Whereas in this, it's like, no, there is a narrative A to B kind of, and you can just get distracted along the way. And I quite like that as a nice change of pace from, trying to figure out this inscrutable story.
I couldn't even get on it.
That's why you watch YouTube videos.
I couldn't even get on it to fall off it. I mean, I just remember when I first tried to play the first one, it was like, you just need to give it the first however many hours. I'm like, no. I mean, no. I'm not sitting here for hours and hours. And
Yeah, I think that's bollocks.
I did the first little bit, and I just remember they were teaching you to go and like watch the patterns that the animals were making come through the grass, and I'm like, I'm bored. Like, I wasn't.
You weren't in the right
wasn't
mood.
right.
That's
You're very
what-
right, Ben. Yeah, probably absolutely correct there. And I will try, and I've still not gone back. As you said, we waited and we gave like an hour of the first one on the VR2. I'm the only one of us that's not gone back now and finished it. But I think that's probably because I haven't played any of the other games, so I have no real desire to. I will eventually.
Definitely worth doing as well.
Like, I would love to play it, but I can't at the moment foresee a window where I'm going to go, I'm in the mood to play Horizon. Which is a shame because it looks... The second one looks, like you're saying, better than the first. But I'd feel like I'd need to go back and play the first again, but I wouldn't want to restart it. I'd want to just pick it up from where I left off, which is perhaps impossible. I can't quite remember if... I guess it would be a bit weird to tell you how to do certain things, because I know that there are some of the machines that require certain weapons to take them down. I wouldn't want to start a game, but I feel like I might.
I mean, if you...
And that does put me off.
If you fell off it because you were lost, I mean, I don't think it's going to be that easy to pick back up. So,
yeah, right. I'll find my way. I can't. I think that's maybe what it was, or maybe I got lost and had to walk back, and I just got a bit fucked off for having to walk so far. Or I genuinely can't remember because it's before Elden Ring, so like before 2022.
Yeah,
that I played it.
I think
a while
you
ago.
need to start again.
Good long while.
If you do decide to start it again, the call back to the last episode. If you ever get a Steam Deck, it's in the family library.
Family library.
So, it's there.
My.
Playing that handheld. Imagine that. Playing that on the train. Horizon on the train.
Does it hold up? Does it look good
yeah, it's decent.
on the Steam Deck?
I'd imagine it looks even better on the Steam Deck OLED. But, yeah.
Not that it matters, to be honest. I don't know why I said that, because I don't care. As long as the game plays well. As long as the game plays well, then that's all that matters. It's quite funny, though, because you've seen, as it Last of Us, when this Steam Deck version of that came out, Joel looked like he was wearing like fake eyebrows.
Yeah.
So you're still playing through it. You're not finished it. You're just making your way through it.
Yeah, I think I am roughly halfway through it. If the trophies I've got are anything to go by. Yeah,
Not that you're paying
hard to tell. But
is there
I think
anything,
about
Ben?
halfway.
You'd never do that.
No, I can't see myself platining this one like I did the first one. It seems like it's got... Yeah, I'm not being quite as anal about going around and collecting stuff as I was in the first one. No idea why, but yeah.
Are there trophies or similar achievements on the Steam Deck?
You get Steam achievements. They're not quite the same. Not quite as prestigious as trophies and stuff, and it's not... I don't think every game has them either. It's not a mandatory thing like on PlayStation, but it does have...
Interesting, actually. You say that. Call back again to spoke about Elden Ring last week. No trophies on the DLC. I have a good memory. Great memory.
That is
very
odd. And
for such a big
again,
item.
that's a small thing that's put me off slightly. It's like, well, I got the platinum. I want to get some more trophies.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. As someone who's
it's like a badge
not
of
a
honor
trophy
with
guy,
a game like that.
yeah. But yeah, even as a non-trophy guy, I was like, that's strange.
Yeah, it's a shame. Just final point on that: the whole PlayStation and trophy stuff. It's a shame that Horizon on the deck doesn't sync up with your PlayStation trophies, because I know they've implemented that for Ghost of Tsushima, haven't they?
I'm sure.
Yeah. So I'd love them to kind of retroactively do it for everything else they've released. That would definitely tempt me to pick up a few more PlayStation games. Like, get
I'm pretty sure they are like
get Spider-Man when it's
trophy
cheap and
list
stuff
as
like
well
that.
for Ghost of Tsushima. It's not like there's a Steam Deck trophy list and a PlayStation trophy list.
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't think they necessarily talk to each other in terms of cross saves, but they do in terms of a trophy list.
Cross saves would be the way to go as well. That's kind of the dream. Just being able to pick up any game portably and take it anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess while we're on deck, what have you been playing?
A lot of little things. So kind of again, as what we were saying last week, I've still not found a big thing to sink my teeth into, and I've been on that traditional British holiday of a little centre Parcs trip, and I took my Steam Deck with me, so there was plenty to keep me abused. Plenty to keep me amused.
Yeah, depends. Wow, kind of games you
sure
see some of those things you get on the Steam store. You can find anything on there that's certainly unfiltered. But I've been playing, so I've very much been on a Survivor-like binge. I think that's the term. I don't know if Survivors-like is the term, but like I've wanted.
Yep.
Vampire Survivor still hasn't landed on PS5, and it's coming in the summer, and I think it's delays in certification, but it's still not quite there yet. So I've been trying to pick up basically every game I can get that's like a Survivors-like, and find one that I really like as much as Vampire Survivors until the PS5 version comes. So I've been playing. Now it's completely gone out of my head in terms of the name of the game I'm playing. Time Checker. So this is it is a Survivor-like to an extent, but it's a wee bit more in depth. So it is a roguelike. It's more of a roguelike with some time, almost RTS bits to it, but not quite, and then a little bit of RPG into it because you need to upgrade your characters and stuff as you go. So it's the way it's set up is you basically need to get a path through, like, I think there's 4 or 5 different stages, and each end stage is a boss. But there's different routes that you can choose to take, and then you need to get crystals as you're going to upgrade your characters. But like some of the crystals, you can then upgrade them as like permanent upgrades for like your next run and things like that. And then the more you do it, there's more characters that you unlock. But it's as the combat in it is that kind of Survivors like combat, that it's all auto combat, and you're picking up your different weapons, and you'll do different things, and then as you level up, it gives you another choice of things to take on, and adding in more weapons, and you can have like 6 or 7 different weapons assigned to different parts of your character, and it's quite satisfying in terms of like the enemies are quite good, the bosses are quite good. Like for every time you unlock, when you finish a level, you unlock like 2 more levels, and one is like a question mark, and you hit on that and you basically assign it, and it does this little roulette, and it picks like random things, and it might give you crystals, it might give you a boss fight, it might give you like upgrades to your character, and then you can either choose to do that level to get more points towards your story, or you can go and do the main level to go to the next one. And it's just, it almost engrossed me. I think over like the week that I was there, I played like 10 or 12 hours of it, maybe more. Like just kind of going, and even a bad run, you're probably still a couple hours in it, maybe. So it's one, but each level is only maybe 4 or 5 minutes that you need to survive. So it's not like your 20 minutes of Vampire Survivors. It's like smaller chunks of going through, and it's easy to like pick up and put down. It's not like you need to remember what you've done or what you can just go back into it. Like when you've got 5 minutes, it's very good for picking up. So I really like that.
Nice. It sounds more like it's got more in common with Deep Rock Galactic Survivor than Vampire Survivor.
Because that's another one I really
you
enjoyed.
love that, right? Yeah. This is basically your genre of the year at the moment, right?
Because there's been that, and then there was another one. Is it Dash Survivors? So like, and then
don't know that one.
I think there's been another one. There was Geometry Survivor. So I've been through the Survivors. So yeah,
I really like the look of this. Just on the Steam store just now, pending my purchase of a Steam Deck OLED, and having a little look at the trailer, and it's very nice. Like such a nice game to look at. Quite like the art style.
Quite a cool little art style to it. It's that it's not quite pixel art, but the way the UI and stuff is presented to you and the characters and things, there's elements of that there.
There's a weird kind of like Saturday morning cartoon style artwork to the gameplay more than like the character art, because the character art, I guess, is quite like pixel art, but the gameplay is totally different. It looks really cool. Looks like it's looked at Vampire Survivor and going, yeah, okay, we can do that. But then I feel it feels unfair saying that, because potentially these games might have been developed at the same time, and like, Vampire Survivors is just out however long before.
I think it's probably the one in this kind of light. It's probably the least like Vampire Survivors, because it's not just about like surviving for one level for like 20 minutes. It is about progressing your character a bit more than it is about like building up to be able to get a complete run. And it's almost like I feel, and this is going to sound bad for Vampire Survivors because I love Vampire Survivors, but it's almost like a full game of Vampire Survivors, like a kind of fleshed out version of the smaller bits to get to the end.
I guess that was always going to be the case, though, right? Because Vampire Survivors is like aggressively bare bones in terms of presentation. Like there was always going to be people coming along going, oh, okay, well, we could make a better looking version with this and add in some extra progression and RPG mechanics, and suddenly this whole genre is just ballooned into this really cool thing. Because the gameplay, if you get that nailed, and then you get that that like payoff dopamine hit of hitting an upgrade every minute or so, that's all you need, right? Because you're just walking about destroying everything and then getting a little ooh, I did well. And it's,
and I think
brilliant.
Probably as well that this is you going, like your level is staying for each level, like your character level for each next stage you go into, like you're continually progressing your character as each one goes on, rather than like it being a starting again. So you've got those weapons to start in the next one, and then you can level up the weapons, and you can assign like attributes to the weapons to like maybe change how they fire or change how like they're doing. So it's very good in that way. And it was just as you said something there, and I can't remember what it was about it being bare bones. So I also played another one. I can't remember. I think it's called Zombie Survivor or something, and I think you should have this to play as well, Ben. It's a 3D vamp. It's basically a 3D survivor, like, so it's like you're in this field, like, and all these zombies are coming towards you. So rather than it being top down, you're trying to like fire all these zombies, and that one's bizarre.
It's like,
absolutely,
it's like Doom.
Super.
Yeah,
but it's like quite the graphics all a bit more actually it's quite well done. But I'm just like, no, this doesn't feel right.
That sounds overwhelming for the senses. What top three then, since you're Survivors like correspondent? Top three Survivors likes.
I like Time Checker's definitely up there. This is probably the one that, I mean, Vampire Survivors is the top.
Still the go.
It's still the go. I think a bit Time Checker in there, and I really liked Geometry Survivor, but I think that was probably because it was almost a cross between Geometry Wars and
which you like anyway, right?
Which I like anyway, so that was good.
No Deep Rock. I thought that you put Deep Rock.
Oh shit! No, Deep Rock Galactic's going right in there at number 2. Sorry, and then Deep Rock Galactic Survivors is excellent. So put Vampire, Deep Rock, and then Time Checker, and we'll
there we go.
Just kick Geometry out of the list.
The official top
Deep
3.
Rock Galactic.
Survivor. So Deep Rock Galactic is a game in itself, but then there's a Survivor spin-off.
It's excellent.
Which is really good. I've never played the base Deep Rock Galactic. It doesn't sound like something that interests me at all, but this one is really good.
Deep Rock Galactic. I thought I recognised it. That's it was free on like PS Plus.
Yeah, it was at 1 month.
Yeah.
I did not like it.
No. And
the base game didn't appeal at all.
No, I've never even bothered to try it.
I think I'm about 30 or 40 hours into this one.
You got all the achievements, haven't you, as well in that?
Well, there's more. They've added, because it's still early access, they've added more. So there's more stuff and different game modes and stuff been added into it too. So it's a whole new ball game.
That's the other thing, Lewis. Not trying to sell you on the Steam Deck again, but the early access stuff is brilliant. Like being able to play Hades 2, bad example for you, but also
very.
What's the one from Moon Studio?
Ori.
No,
Their new game. Sorry.
No time for the wicked, no rest for the...
No rest for the wicked, yeah. Like, you can play that now. Not even properly out yet.
No.
You can play it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Let's just dangle there for you.
It's getting closer every week, Ben.
Deary me.
We'll
see.
Anything else keeping your deck warm?
I suppose the only other thing is looking at... Yeah, it's nice and toasty. But talking about Geometry Wars, so there's another game I've been playing, which is Cyberpulse.
Cyberpulse, did you say?
Yes. Did I say Cyberpulse? I'm thinking I said Cyberpulse.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds like a VPN.
It does actually when you say that. So it's a twin. Ultimately, it's a twin stick shooter, but it's a little bit different. Whereas rather than you're shooting, you're almost deflecting things coming towards you. So you're basically your left stick guides your ship, and your right stick is like this circle which you need to aim how you're going to fire everything away from you. And you're in like very much the setting is like a kind of look like you're in a futuristic world to get through all these things as this little ship, but it's quite well varied in terms of there's loads of different gameplay types. So some of them it can just be about avoiding stuff coming towards you. Some it might be to survive for a certain amount of time. Some will be just to get a certain level of score. Some will be to use some special achievements or special powers. And again, it's not quite a roguelike because it's not a roguelike. You're just trying to progress through and you've got an ultimate goal to go and beat these bosses. And then the boss battles again are pretty cool. And one of them, I think the last one I had to do was a worm, and you were just basically, it was like this worm that was going around and you had to strategically like take bits of it out and it had different stages and stuff. And it's just it's a neat take on your traditional twin stick shooter because you're not actually technically shooting. You do in some levels, but it's more about deflection than shooting of the other stuff that's come towards you.
It looks really cool. Yeah, there's lots of like bullet hell in there. It's do you know what? In my initial impression, again on the Steam, and it's a game called Osmos, where you're this orb, and you try and absorb other little orbs to grow bigger, and as you grow bigger, you can absorb bigger orbs.
The orb
until you are until you are the orb, and then you sort of move from like biome to biome. Again, on the Steam store there, I think you move from level to level. It reminded me a lot of that, but the gameplay is totally different. I think completely different. But yeah, that was like an early iPhone, at least, game. Just reminded me of it.
Yeah.
But it looks really cool.
It does look cool. It looks
very cool.
Yeah, you're definitely in
that's where my head's at the minute. It's
mood at the moment.
Very much those kind of games just now, and I'm very much enjoying them.
I get it. Yeah. Did you play? You played Mini Shoot Adventure, didn't you? Yeah, that was good.
You'd love that.
That was a good
absolutely love that.
Basically Zelda, but a twin stick shooter.
Oh yeah.
Like 2D Zelda, but a twin stick shooter. Well, why would you? Why would you pay any attention to what?
One of the highest rated games.
Like genuinely, I never used to.
I think it's quite highly.
Yeah.
Steam Deck, huh? I can see myself with the
Steam what you would love, especially about it, Lewis, like all the music and the sounds and all of that, and just when it's happy and it does a wee spin and it, so good.
Those little things. Love all that. Love it.
Yeah. What else do you love, Lewis?
What else do I love?
Top three things that you love.
Top things that I love. I love long walks on the beach. I love champagne. And I also love Metroid. Specifically the 2D variety of Metroid. I've still got Cyberpulse on my screen. It's distracting, so I'm going to close it. Specifically the 2D version of Metroid. Both are good, 2D and 3D. The Prime game's very good, but I'm a side-scrolling kind of guy when it comes to Metroid. And I have been replaying the remake of the first Metroid, and that game is called Metroid Zero Mission. Initially played it a couple of years ago before Metroid Dread came out. I actually played all 4 Metroid games ahead of Dread, just to not so much get myself up in the story, just so that I could sort of experience them all before 5 Dread came out.
Yeah,
but man,
and you played them in order, didn't you?
I think I did. Zero Mission, Super, 3, Fusion,
4,
Samus Returns,
2,
Dread.
5.
Yes. So I didn't do it in order. I have been thinking about playing Super again, because I've not played it since I finished it. And my Nintendo Switch Online tells me I played that game for 17 hours. 17, just not 70. Hell. So a long old time. But Zero Mission, oh, what a game. Just so... How just nimble. Samus is so nimble. Like, just leaping about, turning into a little ball, rolling about the place, shooting up, shooting down, shooting straight ahead. Laying a bomb, I'm going to say, like an egg, lays a couple of bombs. It's just such a fun game, and I really do think it's down to the gameplay loop, but just the speed of which she moves. Oh, it's just such a satisfying game to play. Everything about it, like you're talking about that dopamine hit. You know, when there's that power up, and you get that. Do 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 do, like that music comes in. Oh my goodness me,
the best. It does make you just want to find the next thing, or like the next save room, or the next whatever, doesn't it? So
because everything is so quick. You find basically the first power up within a minute, and if you follow the right path, the second power up is like 2 or 3 minutes later. So it's like it really does. It bumps up your abilities really fast. Man, I love that game. I don't know how I would rank them, but I would definitely have Zero Mission, Fusion, and Dread all pretty close together at the top. It's just such a fun game to play. So like I've done about an hour, but again, because of these games, I've just remembered something that I should have done.
Turn the oven off.
Yeah.
Put more champagne in the fridge.
Oh, it's more champagne in my flute. If you die, it takes you back to your last save room. And the last time I played it, I think it was maybe 20 minutes between save rooms, died, and I was like, I'm going to stop for tonight. But I've literally just remembered that I was playing it on NSO, and I could have rewound it.
Yeah,
and I didn't.
That is the only reason I play things on NSO, is being able to do save states whenever and rewind. Like, it's the only way I get through games.
Totally forgot. So this is real disappointment that you're seeing right now.
Live.
My own stupidity
it's okay.
of not rewinding. That's annoying. I think I've done a boss in that time as well. Fucking wanker.
That's so funny. I completely agree with your top 3, your rough top 3 of 2D Metroids. Like, I think they're the only 3 that I've beaten. But I think Zero Mission is the best one to start with, because it is so, like you said, it's really snappy. I don't think it's not that hard either.
No,
like, it's not. I think jumping straight into Dread, if you haven't learned how a Metroid game works from one of the earlier ones, I can see why that would be off-putting to most people.
Yeah.
But I think Zero Mission is the place to start.
Yeah, like we had that. Like, Alex, so was one of your complaints of Dread, not that, and other than like maybe the feeling cramped when you were trying to play the game, but like knowing that you can shoot blocks, that kind of thing, and opening up pathways like that that's not immediately obvious if you've not played the prior games.
And I had that exact thing with the first one I tried was Super
Yeah.
3, and I didn't know that design language. I didn't realize and I was annoyed. I was like, "What? I'm supposed to shoot blocks just randomly to be able to progress?" And I dropped off it quite quickly, and I found the controls to be a bit naff as well, which was a problem that I never got over. But I would love to go back to Super and Samus Returns as well.
They're all good. I'd say like Fusion as well. Fusion's up there.
Yeah.
It's like the same, goes on at the same sort of clip as Zero Mission, but it's got that, like I've said before, I think Fusion does the concept of dread better than Metroid Dread with the SAX. It's got just kind of like stomping about, and you've got to stay really still. That kind of thing. So satisfying. All the games are really good. Samus Returns, file that at the bottom of the list. It's not a bad game. It's just not as good as the others for me.
It's different structurally, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is.
Is that Alex? Have you got any compulsion to play these games?
I mean, the only like Dread, obviously, I tried and I just didn't get on with it at all. And the only other one I think I've really ever played was it 2? That was 2 Samus Returns. Is that the one that was on the original Game Boy?
Return of Samus, it was called.
That's the only one I've ever really properly played, and that was just because I had it on the Game Boy back in the day. I loved that game at the time. I didn't really know what I was doing. I don't think I ever finished it or anything, but I mean, it was still fun. But no, I really get no notion of revisiting or trying any of them, which I probably would enjoy some of them.
I'd like Zero Mission's a good, and it's like 4 hours. Like if you're lucky, it's just such a nice and easy game to pick up, and it's not too difficult.
Particularly
just
with
don't make any silly mistakes like what I did.
And playing it on NSO, I do think it's a really nice way to bed yourself in, because you have got the fallback option of rewind and save states and stuff. So it makes some of these games
where were you when I forgot, Ben?
It makes some of these games that were designed to be difficult to make them take longer than they really should. It makes them a breeze to just get through quickly, which is really nice, because you can see, like, I can see games from my childhood that I never got past the first couple of levels and just go, oh, okay, so this is how the game ends. You know, it's a good way to play. I love NSO, underrated service.
It is indeed.
Arguably the best service out of the 3 subscription options.
That's a topic for a different time.
That's a debate for another day. Yeah. Right. Love it. Obviously, Metroid, a series famed for its music.
Oh, yes.
As well. Which leads us nicely onto a little quiz that I've put together. By popular demand, it's back. And we are still...
No one doubted that.
No, never. We are still calling it... what are we calling it? We are calling it Guess the Outro. Guess the Outro.
We know how it works now.
It's starting to sound like a better name now, isn't it?
No music.
We're not guessing songs. We're guessing games.
You are guessing a game. You have 20 questions to guess the game that I'm thinking of in my mind, and then we'll take a song from that game, and that will play us out.
You did quite well last week.
Yes. Play along at home.
You did well. I think you nailed it in 12 questions, which should
have been less.
A good start.
Unprecedented.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I've obviously, I think I went too easy on you.
I hope not.
The challenge will be ramped up slightly this time around. But let's see. Let's begin. Question 1. Fire at will.
All right. The same tact as before.
We should start with the indie one this time. Is it an indie game, Ben?
I don't think it's going to be.
Sorry, you both spoke at the same time. Lewis, what did you say?
I said I don't think
No,
it's
but
going to
we
be.
still know one way or the other,
And then-
don't we?
Yeah.
Is it an indie game?
Is it an indie game? Yes,
Oh, well.
it is an indie game. Yeah, bastard.
And see, again, we could ask the time period, but I feel like indie games are something within that has become like quite apparent within that time frame of 10 years or so.
I think
So I think we don't need. I wouldn't ask that question just now.
you'd ask the gimmick one because Ben loves a gimmick.
I just love a gimmick.
Love a gimmick.
Yeah, gimmicky guy. Is there a special gimmick in this game, Ben?
Is there a special gimmick in this game?
Like mechanic, or interesting
Along
mechanic.
I'm going to say no.
It's a more normal
Just
game
your
then.
basic bitch game.
Is this a basic bitch game? Well, I've chosen it.
So either it is or it's made up. So I'm going to say, is it a platformer?
No.
Okay, the most basic of basic bitches games.
That is the ultimate.
Is that a roguelite?
Is it Pong? No.
I thought about it though. What are games that may be mistaken?
What are games that I would think about?
What are games that Ben would think about? And the assumption is that he's played it.
Could we ask a question like, is it one of the games that we asked last week? Then when we listed all the games to say, is it one of
You
these?
expect me to remember that long ago?
How can we narrow this down?
Yeah, so it's not a platformer. It is an indie.
That's 4 questions, by the way.
What else have we
far
asked?
So far, you know it's an indie. You know it's not a roguelike, and you know it's
or a
a
platformer.
special mechanic.
Absolutely.
That's it, yeah.
Try and nail the genre. We'll go genre route again.
Yeah, might as well. What other genres? Well, it could be an RPG. Is it an RPG?
No,
Damn it.
that's
We did
5.
Not platformer, not an RPG, not a roguelite. Are we including rogue? I mean, I'm including roguelite and like is the same kind of thing. And I'm assuming you are as well. Is that fair to assume? That's not a question.
I would be some kind of arsehole if I said, actually, you only asked me if it was a roguelike.
Well,
It's
just
actually a
checking.
roguelike. No, I mean, I am some kind of arsehole, but no.
Yes, yeah, you are.
I'll class them as the same.
How can we look at this from a different angle? That's the question. There you go. Question 6, Ben. How can we look at this from a different angle?
Yes.
So, what genres have we got? Is that Metroidvania?
Them all. Yeah. No special mechanic. Should be. Is there any point in trying to get what platform it's on? Because I feel like games are just on all platforms now. Is the character name in the title of the game?
Classic question.
Classic.
No.
Doesn't narrow it down.
But like if it was, I know you didn't say it said not about the time period, but what if maybe like if it was something like more recent? Maybe like if it's in the last, maybe in the last 12 months. Has it been in the last 12 months? Released, sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah.
was it released in the last 12 months? No. That is 7 questions.
So not in the last 12 months. We've just got another 39 years of games. Have we all played this game? And if you don't know, the question doesn't count.
I'll be the judge of that. I don't know, and I will let you off.
Right, okay. An indie game.
We still haven't got a genre, have we?
Although it would be funny if we had all played it and the clue was, you two idiots didn't like this game.
Yeah.
I mean, to feel that could be probably fair for about 90%
So many
of the
things.
games that we all play.
Yeah.
We're good at this last week, Lewis. What's happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, you got cocky.
Peaked too early.
That's the problem. Although I must say the clue helped you significantly last week. So I think
I think we had it in the bag. Yeah, we could probably try and get a genre, like an action style game. What would you include under action? Because does that like encompass a few different types?
What games did we think had good music?
Celeste,
Not platform,
but not platformer. Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Like music,
Um,
isn't it? Is that it's not really action, is it? It's like weird.
Yeah, it's like a on rails thing. You're just like flying through.
Maybe he's taking
level.
my clue for like Goodbye Volcano High from last time, and he's actually picked it just to like double bluff us.
Maybe.
Yes,
Would
you
I? Come on.
Other questions.
We have the clue early this week.
What do you play as? A group of people.
No.
As a party, is that kind of what you were thinking?
What were you thinking there?
Well, I think clearly I wasn't thinking. In Crosscode, I think you can play as multiple people.
Okay.
That kind of thing. And that's got quite good music. But that's in our... Have we asked about an
I
RPG?
think we actually did we? Did we? No, we did ask RPG and you said it wasn't an RPG. So that we did ask that.
I don't remember.
Sure we did.
I don't remember if you asked that or not. We'll never know.
What about...
Just for clarity, let's just say that we have asked. We have both forgotten, is it an RPG or not?
I can't remember what I
He
said.
said no and we did ask it. I do remember.
Really?
Yes. So what genres are left? The actiony type, Metroidvania.
We could ask if it's on Game Pass.
Good. Go for it.
Is it on Game Pass, Ben?
He doesn't know.
Mate, come on. Why don't you ask me another question while I'm researching?
Because we could
if
get
it's
the
on
answer
Game
from that
Pass?
question.
Is it one?
I don't know what's on Game Pass just now, so I don't know why I've asked that question.
I am going to say no, it's not on Game Pass. That is 9. 9 questions. You get a clue after the 10th if you need
I
it.
think we're going to need it, Ben.
You've got enough information to make a guess.
Is it a game that you have played and enjoyed and spoken to us about before?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's narrowing it down, Lewis.
Would you? It's the best game I've played all year. How many times have I said that? So, here's your clue.
Yes, please.
Would you like a clue?
Yes.
Okay, here is an excerpt from a review of this game. Fast forward to today, of course, and home consoles are sitting pretty on top of the gaming world. But there are those of us who long for a simpler time when men were men and women were largely unattainable. And that's where blank power slides in.
Power
Got a power
Slides.
slide. Turtles or something.
I think I know what it is.
Streets of Rage.
Is it a racing game?
Is it a racing game? Yes, it is a racing game.
Have we spoke about on this very podcast about a game with a similar name?
Yes, we have.
Oh.
Ben.
Is it Horizon Chase Turbo?
It is Horizon Chase Turbo. Congratulations. These clues are getting clearly too much of a clue. I'm going to have to tone that down even more next time. Bonus points if you can guess where that review was from and who wrote it.
Ooh, I'm going to say somewhere. I'm going to say it was Nate Ellingsworth that wrote that review.
Even better than that, it was me. It was one of the first reviews I ever had published. Yep.
In Switch Player?
No, on Nintendad, RIP.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, way back when. That was one. Yeah, I think it was like the second review I ever wrote.
Oh, really?
There we go. Got that little joke in there. Women largely on the table. Brilliant. Self-aggrandizing aside, yeah. So there's a really good soundtrack. It is by a chap called Barry Leitch or Leitch, Leitch. Anyone named Barry.
I thought it was going to be it's by a guy called Barry. You should listen.
We've got a guy called Barry, and it is really good. It's a banging soundtrack, really like old school, as in keeping with the style of the game, like the whole Top Gear kind of look at it. But yeah, the track we're going to use is called Race 4 Retro Race, and that is one of the best songs from Horizon Chase Turbo.